Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into the fascinating and honestly kind of hidden psychology driving your everyday life. We're unpacking a role that I bet so many of you are going to intimately relate to, the rock of your friend group. We're going to explore exactly why being that ultra-reliable friend feels so utterly, completely exhausting. So, let's get right into it.
Okay, let me ask you something. Are you the absolute first person everyone calls when their life is falling apart, but literally the last person to ever ask for help yourself? You know the drill. You're the one managing the crises, remembering everybody's birthdays, handling all the complex logistics, and somehow you're staying perfectly calm while everyone else around you is totally panicking. But despite being this pillar of support, do you find yourself carrying this really heavy, invisible weight? If you're nodding your head right now, this explainer is 100% for you.
All right, let's start with Section 1, the weight of reliability.
See, to the outside world, you are effortless dependability. You're an unshakable mountain. But internally, well, that reliability doesn't exactly feel like a superpower, does it? It feels more like you're chained to a giant, invisible boulder that you never actually volunteered to carry. While everyone else thinks you have it all completely together, you secretly feel like a total outsider, just kind of looking in on the very relationships you're working so hard to maintain.
And here is the crucial, really painful realization. Being the reliable friend often means your relationships start to feel entirely transactional. You learn to believe that you're valued solely for what you can do, the fires you can put out, the peace you can keep, and not just for who you are as a human being. And to understand exactly why we accept that transaction, we actually have to take a look into the past.
Which brings us to Section 2, the parentification trap.
Let's dive into where this whole dynamic begins, a concept called parentification. This happens to kids who are forced to grow up way too fast. Think about it. If you were the 10-year-old managing the turbulent emotions of the adults around you, or trying to solve adult problems while the other kids were just out playing in the dirt, your brain had to adapt. And it adapted by completely suppressing your own needs. Your gift of extreme reliability? It's actually an old trauma response. It's a survival mechanism you learned a long time ago when you had absolutely no other choice. And the long-term hangover of that childhood programming is a state we call uneasy rest. Because you learned so early on that your worth was directly tied to your utility, as an adult, you feel guilty. Actually, scratch that. It's more intense than guilt. You can feel physically unsafe when you aren't actively being useful to someone else. You're not just being nice by always helping out. Your nervous system is basically stuck in this closed loop where being needed literally equals being safe.
So, moving right along, let's unpack Section 3, the architecture of strength.
All of this childhood programming builds into a pretty heartbreaking paradox. On a subconscious level, your ultimate goal is to become irreplaceable. You are desperately trying to avoid being a burden to anybody. But the actual result? Trying to secure your place in people's lives leads straight into chronic overgiving, absolute exhaustion, and a survival mode that actually makes you infinitely more lonely in the end.
Let's break down what that overgiving actually costs you on a daily basis. To be irreplaceable, you're giving far more time and energy than you're ever getting back. You become an absolute expert at what's called active observation. This means you're constantly reading the hidden subtitles of a room. You sense a subtle shift in someone's mood before they even realize it themselves. You're endlessly scanning for problems to solve so you never let anyone down. And while, yeah, this makes you an incredibly empathetic friend, it means you can never just turn off. It is completely, utterly draining.
And because you're always giving, you develop this thing called survival independence. Let's be real. You'd probably rather perform your own dental surgery than ask a friend for a ride to the airport, right? You've learned that support can be super inconsistent or that asking for help just makes you look like a burden. So you just stop expecting a rescue. You handle your pain entirely alone, and you celebrate your wins quietly. That silent strength makes your success look completely effortless to everyone else, but it really reinforces that deep sense of isolation.
Now, this sets up a fascinating contrast in what you actually crave out of life. You're the ultimate insider, holding the whole friend group together, yet typical social rituals absolutely exhaust you. You would much rather have a deep, totally random conversation on an ordinary Tuesday than go to some loud, chaotic birthday party and make small talk. You value real quality and loyalty over empty rituals, and you're seeking internal validation, not the fleeting digital applause of social media. You just want consistency, mostly because you know exactly how easily people disappear when things get tough.
Okay, let's talk solutions. Section 4, deprogramming the reliable friend.
Here are the practical steps to actually start healing this. Step 1 is deprogramming.
You have to accept that while you certainly didn't choose your childhood, healing as an adult, that is your responsibility now. Step 2 is micro-progress. Start by saying no to just one tiny thing that drains your energy today. Just set a single boundary. And finally, step 3, existing without fixing. You've got to internalize that you don't need to be everything for everyone to be worthy of taking up space in this world. You just need to be yourself.
Listen, if you recognized your own life in these patterns today, here is the absolute truth about you. Your mind is built for a level of rare awareness and deep loyalty that is incredibly hard to find. Those are immense strengths. They are not flaws. You are not too much. You are simply someone who has been strong for a very, very long time. And most importantly, you are entirely allowed to finally rest. I really want to leave you with this powerful realization. Let this truly sink in. Your peace is more important than your performance. You do not have to perform reliability just to earn your place in this world. By setting boundaries, you aren't losing your worth. You are finally taking your life back.
So, we're going to end with this final question. You have been strong for absolutely everyone else. Are you ready to step out of that reliable friend trap and finally rest? Take this awareness, use it as the fuel you need, and start your micro-progress today. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer. Stay aware, stay focused, and go start prioritizing your peace.